We have a great show ahead today. Promise David's goal-scoring form continues to turn heads. We play fair or foul. Can Cristiano Ronaldo reach 1,000 goals? Plus, Esther Okoronkwo from AFC Toronto joins us after Toronto wins the Supporter Shield in the NSL's inaugural season. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Just Soccer. I'm your host, Andi Petrillo. I am joined by analyst and co-host of the Footy Prime podcast, Ms. Amy Walsh. Let's get to this week. That was a fun one, Amy. And let's begin with Promise David. Because 4 goals in the Belgian League, 1 goal in Champions League. Promise David's on fire. He can't stop scoring. What do you make of his form so far this season?
I think it's incredible. It's everything that he needs to be doing in order to lock up a spot with this men's national team. I think his sights should be set a little bit higher too. That's not necessarily being a part of the 23-player roster that's going to make it to the 26 World Cup, the home World Cup that we're co-hosting with Mexico and the US. But it's, can he make a run for the starting job as the number 9, and his form so far is showing that he can be that player for our men's national team. However, I think Jesse Marsch does think he's still a little bit raw, but the types of goals that he's scoring, like these poacher goals, leading the line, running off the front, being ruthless, wreaking havoc, disrupting, I think that is the type of energy that our men's national team needs, and a player like John David can really play well off of.
Well, and we know at the last window in September, Jesse Marsch was favoring Taniela Washayi up there with Jonathan David. And given that their next international window is a week away, and he seems to be the most informed striker, do you think he should get a run of games? Do you think he should be that starter alongside Jonathan David? Get the 2 Davids out there.
I think he should at least get a chance to do it. You know, they have a couple of matches. It is in North America. He's coming over from Europe. I think that the roster for this window will be skewed a little bit more towards the North American players, but his name, I think, should be up there. So if he trains well, if he continues his club form into national team camp, because Jesse Marsch said the last time that they played, he was in line for that starting job for a larger handful of minutes, and he had just an absolutely shambolic, I think was Promise David's words, self-described performance as the match day -1 or -2 performance, and then that led to Taniela Washayi getting that starting job or that role there. So I think if he continues the form, he shows his coach that he's up to the task, can play a more sophisticated brand of football within the constructs and the principles of play that Jesse Marsch wants his team to espouse, then I think he has a shot at that number 9.
We know that players can become fan favorites, A, because they perform, but B, because they can have like a pretty infectious personality. And oh, goodness, I can't believe I'm going to say maybe they can both be, but I almost feel like one's going to be dethroned. I feel like that guy was Schaffelberg because of the way he came out a couple of years ago, right? And he was just this like speed demon out on the pitch. He went from being on the bench to being a starter, but we know that his form has dipped a little bit. And given the way Promise David's been playing and the fact that he's hilarious and he's like so fun to talk to, do you think he's becoming the new fan favorite?
I think so. I think Schaff will always be there. I mean, despite the red card, right? I think he's sort of fallen out of favor maybe with the fans, but he has that kind of smiling assassin type role. And I think Promise David, like the personality part, it's an easy sell. He's unfiltered, he's unabashedly himself, he's a soundbite machine. He keeps churning out these quotes, and Canadians love him. But it's the promise of goals. So yes, it's the upside of the personality and what you're gonna get. Where like you see him on the touchline, you see him. I'm sure he's a great energy in that locker room and with his teammates out on the pitch, on the training pitch. But consistently bagging goals and then refining his movement off the ball, becoming more wily, more sophisticated, and an all-around footballer. We'll see his stock rise. I think not only with Jesse Marsch and more meaningful minutes, but also with the Canadian fan.
Keeping an eye on the midfield as well, just because of everything that's been going on and movement as well between different teams for Ismael Kone. Now with Sassuolo, he scores a goal over the weekend against Udinese, and he's been looking good for the team. In that September window, looked really great. Jesse Marsch even said it. Even that first game when he took him out, it was just a matter of like switching things up and wanting to see different players. So, I mean, are you seeing a confidence? Do you see like that's coming back for Kone with the national team?
I think so. He's finding his footing. He's 23 years old. He's understanding that he needs that maturity. He needs that experience, which he's getting now. And I think he has the trust of his club coach. He understands that he has that relationship with Jesse Marsch. But at the same time, I think we're at the point now where even if he's had an atypical route as a pathway to pro, that now the leash is a little bit shorter. The patience is wearing a little bit thin. So he has to prove that he can embrace the responsibility, whether it's in a more defensive role, becoming a more well-rounded footballer, or also in reining in the more petulant behavior, because you know that that's going to be examined now. He's going to be underneath the microscope, given the way that, optically that was interpreted, the way that he was pulled off. It was a tactical adjustment. You just want to lock down the game. But he had to be reassured by his coach. So I think now he's learned from that, and he's at a situation at club and at country now where I think he feels like he has the support. So now it's, can he flourish, not only in that more offensive role, like that goal that he scored with Sassuolo, where he's breaking into the box, silky moves, great first touch, gets and opens his body up, shapes it to find that far post and that stanchion. And that's what he does with the national team. There's nobody else like him. So he can break the game wide open, but can he do the other things well? And I think that's what he's showing as club coach. So he'll be earning more minutes, more trust as he goes along, and relied upon to be that guy for them where he can just change a game. And he can be that with the national team as well. There's nobody else like Ismael Kone. So when Isma is in top form, he can be in the middle of that park with the likes of Stefan Eustáquio and who knows who else. I mean, maybe it's a Saliba, maybe it's a Segur, maybe it's a Chouanière, but I think Kone can pencil himself in to Jesse Marsch's starting 11 come next year if he continues to perform like this for club.
Before we get to fair foul, I have to ask you about the 3 World Cup mascots that have been unveiled. If you haven't seen them, we have Maple the Moose, who is Canadian, who's the goalkeeper, by the way. We know, as me being the goalie hugger, I was very excited about that. Clutch, the bald eagle for the US, and Zayu, the jaguar. What are your thoughts on these mascots? I have some thoughts, but what are yours?
Yeah, I don't know. I either love a mascot or I love to hate a mascot, but I think here, they didn't really miss. But I feel like for Canada, the maple, being the moose, I feel like it was a miss. There's a Craig Forrest,
Oh,
our Canadian men's national team legend, right, of
uh-huh.
goalkeeping, first Canadian to ever play in the Premier League. There's a poster of Craig Forrest behind Maple the Moose as he wakes up in bed, the mascot reveal. So this is a little bit of a miss, I think, from a Canadian perspective. Why not Forrest, perhaps the towering maple? That presence between the sticks, huge reach, barked instructions at players. The only drawback, perhaps, was his personality was a bit wooden. But I
Stop it.
think we could have really gone in heavy on this, right?
Maple
Been
tree?
heavy-handed. Yes.
See,
Maybe
I would,
lacked in mobility, Andy, but still defended the net well.
but sturdy. Just, yes,
Yes.
stands tall. I like that. Well, see, I just thought, and now I know that the jaguar is not the national animal of Mexico either. I think they have a golden eagle is theirs. And I'm like, well, why did the US, why are they the only ones that got theirs, which is the bald eagle? Because for Canada, our national animal is the beaver, which, by the way, I think that beaver tail can smack that ball out of the net just as good. I mean, I'm not going to say the moose is a bad thing. We know it's become a thing. Olympians, right? When they stay in the athletes' village, they, Canadians
That's
bring a
true.
moose with them. It's kind of been adopted, but at the end of the day, let's not forget about that little nasty beaver. It's our, is our national animal, and I think it can do some damage out there. So I'm like, could have been a beaver, but I get Maple the Moose. It works. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. All right, let's get to fair or foul. Cristiano Ronaldo currently sits at 946 goals, which has everyone thinking, will he score 1,000? So do you think fair or foul that he's going to reach that?
I mean, I think I am in the Messi versus Ronaldo debate. I am firmly in the Messi camp. But I think Cristiano Ronaldo now is a freak of nature. So
Mm,
fair, Andy Petrillo. Because,
okay.
at the age of, is he 40? Is he plus 40 now? I mean, he's
52, I think. I don't know.
he looks great. Great six pack for a guy in his 50s. But the games, the scoring opportunities are running out, right? Even for a player like him who is in peak and prime physical condition. But the goals are still flowing, and
Mm.
perhaps a lesser league, which is the argument against him, but he continues to bag the goals. And I do think his situation with Portugal is looking a fair bit rosier than it did. sort of close to the end of Qatar. So it's improved this cycle. So a highly individual goal, which it has been very much for Cristiano Ronaldo. It's kind of like him and the team and his interests and his needs prior or put before the needs of Portugal and their success. I think now this highly individual goal becomes more of a collective goal. So I think he's likely, even though it's going to take a little bit of a push and it's going to take a little bit of luck, but I think he's the hard work, certainly he puts it in, and he's got the talent to do it. So I think he can do it.
Speaking of goal scoring, Harry Kane, fastest to reach 100 goals. So Harry Kane became the fastest ever to reach, and he did it in 104 games, breaking the record set by Erling Haaland and none other than Cristiano Ronaldo, who
Mhm.
both did it in 105 games. So is it fair or foul to be impressed with this accomplishment?
Fair. I mean, Harry Kane has never been just a poacher, never been a guy. I mean, something that's dogged Jonathan David and how prolific he's been over the course of his career is how many goals are penalty goals. Something else that has dogged Harry Kane. But he continues to do it, and now playing for Vincent Company for Bayern Munich, his qualities have been distilled down. He's not just a guy who's the fox in a box and can score from the spot. His size, his skill, his footballing IQ is on full display. So I think the fact that he continues to do this, 32 years of age, I think he can do it for a long time. He showed his adaptability. So very, very impressive stat, especially to best Cristiano Ronaldo and Erling Haaland, of whom Pep Guardiola was saying when he was compared to Alexander Isak, another prolific scorer and one of the strikers at the top of his game in world football. And he said, "Where do you put Erling Haaland?" He said, "Just a little bit higher than Alexander Isak." Well, Harry Kane himself is just a little bit higher right now in the record books than Cristiano Ronaldo and Erling Haaland.
Sure is. One more here. Spanish midfielder and Inter Miami player Sergio Busquets has announced that he will retire at the end of the season, marking an end to that kind of central defensive midfield, right? Who has basically won every team trophy. And it's anything that you can also win as a legendary, Spain and Barcelona team that dominated. You got a World Cup, you have a Euro, 3 Champions League, 9 La Liga titles, 7 Copa del Rey. I'm not done. 7 Supercopa de España, 3 UEFA Super Cup, 3 FIFA Club World Cup, a couple more, 1 MLS Supporter Shield, and
Mhm.
a League's Cup. Fair or foul to say he's the greatest men's central defensive midfielder of all time?
My goodness. I mean, with the likes of Pirlo, of Zidane, of, who else? Iniesta, Xavi. There, I mean, I could run down Modric. They don't play exactly the same position, but he's in that company, and I think he's head and shoulders above because he's the quintessential defensive midfielder, complete player, breaks up play, shields the defense, drops into the back line, progresses play, is impossible to take the ball off of. Doesn't really set the tempo and have the passing range of some of the aforementioned players, the names that I threw out there, those really legendary players, but he's the pivot. So you think about those Barcelona years, those Pep Guardiola coached years where, you had Messi in the team as well. Who drove the play? It was Busquets. So I'd be curious to know where the League's Cup and the Supporter Shield in MLS stand with the rest of all of those accolades that he's collected over the course of his career. I think the fact too, Andy, that he's this physical anomaly. He doesn't look like any of the other players I mentioned either. And the fact that this gigantic soccer brain, this footballing brain, exists at the top of this long, almost insect-like frame is just tremendous. So I think he did it in a way that was unique, but I don't know if anybody did it better than Sergio Busquets.
Great stuff, Amy. Always excellent chatting footy with you and getting caught up on things Canadian soccer, also around the globe. But we're going to switch gears now, get to the Northern Super League, where AFC Toronto continued their hot streak, winning the first ever Supporters Shield. And we are joined by their top forward, Esther Okoronkwo. It is so great to have on the show Esther Okoronkwo of AFC Toronto, I should say. How are you doing?
Good, good. Thanks for having me here.
Listen, you've been having yourself quite the year. Before we talk about international duty, we have to get to the Northern Super League and what AFC Toronto has been able to accomplish for the longest time now. You've been holding on to top spot. You clinched a playoff berth, and then you officially clinched top spot in the standings, which is being called the Supporters Shield. How did that feel?
Um, Honestly, it feels great, feels amazing because we know we've been working really hard for it, and to finally like see what like our hard work that's paid off. We only found out whenever we were on the road back from our last game, and we did a little celebration on the bus. We stopped somewhere and then celebrated. But I'm sure like there'll be more celebrations coming.
What makes a team special? I mean, I know sometimes it's hard to kind of put your finger on one thing, but when a team so far has been doing so well, it's like one of those you can finish each other's sentences type of things. But I'm sure it didn't start out that way, right? Brand new team, brand new league. Like,
Yeah.
can you take us through the journey of how Toronto got to where it is right now?
I think for me, it's just more about togetherness, not just only on the field or training, also like outside the field, and make sure like you hang out with your teammate, get to know them, get to know what they like. I think that builds a lot of chemistry on and off the field.
Okay, so we have to know then, like, where do we hang out? Where are some favorite places?
Exactly. Favorite
Yeah,
coffee place, favorite spot
yeah.
to eat, Yeah.
Hmm.
Those
Do you
type of
have one?
Yeah, yeah. I have not coffee because I'm not like a coffee girl,
Good
but
to know.
there's this restaurant that's like not very far from me. It's called Joey's. So it's like a good place. You heard it? You heard of it?
I've heard of Joey's.
Yeah, it's so good. Have you been?
I sure have.
Yeah. Do you like it, or is it just me?
No, I am a big fan of
Yeah.
Joey's. They have like a nice like farmer's market salad that I quite enjoy. Burgers and
Yes.
fries you can never go wrong with.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
I feel you on that one. I don't know if it's because I'm older and I'm just out of the loop, but you have been posting a lot of videos of putting random things as shin guards. Like I think you
Mhm.
put noodles where there are remote controls. Like what is the story behind this?
Um, I can't really explain it, but it's more like, what I'm feeling that day. Like the remote control. If I feel like I want to go control the game that day, I wear a remote control and control the game. That's just how it is for me.
Okay, so okay, but then what's up with like the Mr. Noodles or something? Like what?
Oh,
Were
the noodle one was if I get a little hungry and half of the game I could just get one out, have a little bite and then continue.
This is so random and it's so funny because like I have to see what you're gonna do on that day, but now I understand. It kind of tells you the mood that you're in a little
Mm-hmm.
bit.
Exactly.
Okay. That'll be a game we play. Try to figure out what kind of mood Esther's in before a game. You're somebody who can show up on the score sheet, whether it's scoring goals or assisting. And if we go to your international career and we look at this past summer, and I read somewhere that at halftime when you went into the room with Nigeria, you're in the final of WAFCON, and you're like, I don't care that we're down 2-0. Like there's an ability to come back here.
Hmm.
Can you take us to that moment, like in the room, and how you kind of went into turbo mode and, of course, ended up becoming crowned champions because you won 3-2?
Yeah. No, it was kind of like, even leading up to the finals, like we didn't really concede the goal. And so just coming with Morocco conceding in two goals in the first half, and also knowing like it should have been avoided. We shouldn't have conceded that. But it's football, things happen, and also having in the back of our mind that we can't lose this game. This is not a game we should lose. Like we're so much better as a team. We just have to find it, and we were able to go back to the locker room in the second half and talked about it, and then came back with the flame.
Well, you're champions. You get a party at the presidential estate. I mean, like, how does it feel to be champions of WAFCON?
Yeah, it's my first because when back in 2022 I couldn't make it. I literally tore my ACL right before the tournament, and that crushed my dreams, like broke my heart. But I knew going forward, like I promised myself, if Plus, like, I've never really had like a professional career where I finished the whole season without any injury at all ever since I started. So like after that, after my second ACL, I told myself like this is it. Like when I come back, I will it will be a comeback for me, and I'm glad that like my dreams are, finally coming true. So
Knock on wood, yes, because you
knock
still
on
have
wood.
quite
Exactly.
yeah, you've got a season to go here,
Hmm.
as far as qualifying for the postseason. And just even, maybe before we let you go, you mentioned it's been quite the journey for you, starting in Nigeria, going to Texas. Now here you are playing in Canada. Is there anybody or just any moment that you remember that really kind of helped you along this journey?
Yeah, no, everyone I ever came across, to be honest, you know, God put good people in my life for a reason, and I'm very grateful.
Well, it's been great watching you play. You are very entertaining to watch out there,
Oh,
and
thank
can't
you
wait
so
to see what
much.
AFC Toronto can do in the postseason. Appreciate you taking the time.
Thank you, of course. Thanks for having me.